Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Friday, the 25th of September, comes to you from London. And we start by looking at the dollar index. We see just mixed colours on the screen, so the markets are quite mixed at the moment. Remembering this is my long-term, medium-term, and short-term view of the market. I'm running data here on Icon from Refinitiv, but Updata is obviously compatible with lots of different data sources. In fact, I've got no fewer than a dozen data sources coming into my system this morning. So you can be running on pretty well any service. So this is my long-term, medium-term and short-term view of the market with a corresponding point and figure targets. So the dollar is bullish above the cloud on the short-term chart. The medium and long-term are still bearish, but we're looking like having made a significant bottom this week. Really an inverted pattern here, almost like a reverse head and shoulders. And that means, of course, that the euro, which has been stronger against that weak dollar, is now weakening. And we're in this sideways move for several weeks. We've now broken lower. Euro has been bearish this week. Dollar strength has been the theme. Taking a look at sterling, we're sitting at 127.48 this morning. Still relatively weak against that stronger dollar, and against the euro we're sitting at 109.39. It has been a steady decline against the euro of recent months, but we've just seen a little bit of renewed strength in sterling against the euro this week. Taking a look at Bitcoin, we're sitting at $10,600 today, so we are actually just moving back into bullish territory on that short-term chart, so looking a little bit better there. A shortage of activated upside targets though. If you're trading Bitcoin, take a look at the 1-minute charts. Looking at US stocks, we were up very slightly last night, not enough to change the picture though. Still in short-term bearish trend here, and we do have these downside targets hanging over us. We've got downside targets on the 60-minute chart, some 1.7% lower. There's 3 downside targets, and then we've got this downside target on the 0.5% chart, just under 10% lower. So markets still have potentially further to fall of those targets activated, and whilst we're in the short-term downtrend, we are just cautious. NatGas has downside targets of some 18% from here, so still in that bear zone, and that's quite key. The Dow was up 0.2% overnight, but again the trend is down on that short term, and whilst that trend is down we are cautious. The futures, not much change this morning. Futures slightly down. The S&P E-mini down 0.1%. The Nasdaq E-mini down 0.12%. The VIX volatility is up slightly, up just over 0.5%, 28.68. And if we look at the UK FTSE future, it's little change this morning, slightly down. The DAX cash market is down just under 0.5%, and the CAC Quarante is down just under 0.2%. So European markets are heading lower. We're seeing here the CAC Quarante plumbing new lows. That's taking us back to sort of June levels, so 3-month lows there. That's not great for the French market. The Japanese market was actually up slightly, and it is in slight recovery mode here and has been trending up actually quite well in recent months, so it is bucking the trend a little bit. The Hang Seng, on the other hand, has been falling. It's had a pretty bad week. Hong Kong, Shanghai Bank weighing heavily on this the index. Looking at the Chinese market down 0.5%, and the Indian market actually up. Fewer coronavirus cases reported in India today, and that has helped the market. And the Aussie market also up 1.5%, so some strength just showing through at Asia. Gold is sitting at $1,870, so we really did fall back this week. We are just recovering off that 1850 level. We do have this downside target, of course, but we've got now a little mini upside target. But the long-term trends in gold still looking pretty bullish. And if we look at silver, it's had an even tougher week. And you can see here a big weekly down candle underlining a lot of the move that we've seen recently. Taking a look at the energy mix now, Brent crude is actually up this morning. Quite interesting that we've got this level here at around 46.50, that's the high, and then we've got this 39.50 level, which is the low. We've just made a little mini high, 43.80, which is showing up here on the 60-minute chart. So we are seeing resistance at around 43.30. and that's quite key at the moment. But the really big thing is that we've given this downside target that is activated. We've got a new upside target. We need to move back above this 43.40 level, which is really back above that level there, 43.80, to activate that upside target. So we now have a situation of, can we make a higher high, or will we make a lower low, which would be bearish, when we just need to watch. That won't probably play out for a little while, but that's the levels to watch now for crude. Looking at WTI, much the same picture, of course. We are just climbing a little bit higher here. We have got some upside targets. US NatGas had a very strong day on Thursday with a bounce in inventory numbers, and we're ahead of inventory numbers, and we're seeing here, yesterday we held on to that, so it has had a better week, bouncing quite sharply there. Coal is off a little bit, but we did break the $60 mark on coal, so that's really quite critical. And if we look at emissions, we're sitting at 26.21. We've seesawed all week on emissions, so that's quite key. Gas has fallen back. We're seeing MBP down today, front month. Of course, we're getting near expiry, and TTF down as well. Winter gas down 2% as well. So gas markets generally not having a great time. And German power, last of all, just sitting at 46.60. We're really just finding support around this 40.25 mark. That's it for today. Until Monday, have a great weekend. Happy charting. See you then.